The blackfish kept going and going and going till it was midday. The river had flowed past the mountains and valleys and was now running through a flat plain. Several smaller rivers had merged it from the right and left, considerably increasing its water volume. The blackfish was taking in the vastness of the sea. The fish soon discovered there was no bottom to the water. The fish swam this way and that without coming into contact with anything. There was so much water that the small fish became disoriented. The water was never ending, nor regardless of how far the fish swam. The fish became aware of a massive, long thing racing ahead like lightning. In front of his jaws was a two-edged sword. The small fish pondered, "It's the swordfish. He's about to sever my limbs right now." The fish quickly leaped out of the path and swam to the surface. After a while, the fish moved back beneath the water to search for the bottom. The fish encountered a group of fish, thousands and thousands of fish along the way. "Friend," the fish said to one of them, "I'm a stranger. I've traveled a long distance. Where exactly is this location?" When the fish found his companions, he said, "Take a look. Still another." "Friend, welcome to the water," said to the blackfish. Another stated, "All rivers and streams run here, save some that drain into marshes." One of the fish said, "You are welcome to join our group at any moment." The small blackfish was overjoyed to have made it to the sea and exclaimed, "I'd want to do some exploring first, then join your company. I'd like to be there when you take down the fisherman's net the next time." One of the fish said, "You'll have your desire soon. Now go investigate. However, if you swim to the surface, keep an eye out for the heron, who isn't frightened of anything these days. She won't leave us alone until she's caught 4 or 5 fish in a day." The blackfish then swam away from the group of sea fish. The fish eventually surfaced on the sea's surface. The sun was shining brightly. The small blackfish relished the sensation of the sun's light on its back. The fish was swimming on the sea's surface, calm and cheerful, thinking, "Death may fall upon me quite easily now. But I shouldn't walk out to confront death as long as I am still alive. Of course, it doesn't matter if I'm forced to confront death eventually, which I will be. What matters is the impact my life or death will have on the lives of others." These thoughts could not be pursued by the small blackfish. A heron swooped down and scooped up the fish, carrying it away. The small fish thrashed and waved but couldn't break free, since it was caught in the heron's long beak. The heron had so tightly clutched the fish's waist that its life was vanishing. After all, how long can a little fish survive without water? The fish reasoned, "If only the heron would swallow me right now, the water and moisture within her stomach would keep me alive for at least a few minutes." With this concept in mind, the fish addressed the heron, "Why don't you just swallow me whole? I'm one of those fish whose bodies become toxic after death. The heron did not respond. She pondered. Oh, that's a difficult one. What are you doing? You want to get me to talk so you can walk away? In the distance, dry land could be seen. It was getting closer and closer. The fish reasoned. All is done if we reach dry land. The fish said, I know you want to bring me to your children. The fish said, but I'll be dead by the time we reach land, and my corpse will have turned into a toxic bag. Why don't you feel pity for your children? Precaution is also a virtue, the heron said. I can consume you myself and catch another fish at the same time for my children. But wait, is this a trick? No, you are powerless. The heron was thinking when she observed the black fish's body was limp and unmoving. Is this true? Because you are no longer alive, the heron pondered. I can't even eat you anymore. I've damaged such a delicate and gentle creature for no obvious cause. Delicate fish, hey, tiny one. She summoned the blackfish. Are you still half dead so I can eat you? But she didn't finish, since the blackfish leaped and plunged down the second she opened her beak. The heron realized she'd been duped and dove after the little blackfish. The fish flashed like lightning into the air. The fish had lost its wits due to desire for seawater and shoved its dry mouth towards the sea's damp wind. The heron came up to the fish as soon as it splashed into the water and took a new breath, and this time swallowed the fish so quickly that the fish didn't realize what had occurred. The fish could only sense that it was damp and black everywhere. There was no escape. There was a wail that could be heard. When the fish's eyes adjusted to the darkness, it noticed a little fish weeping in a corner. He desired his mother. When the blackfish neared, said, You little one, get on your feet. Consider what we should do. What are you sobbing about? Why do you do it? Do you want your mom? You there, what's your name? The tiny fish answered. Can't you see? I'm dying. Oh me, oh my, oh, Mama, I can't come with you anymore to drag the fisherman's net to the bottom of the sea. Oh. The little blackfish said, Enough, you'll humiliate all fish. After the tiny fish had controlled his tears, the little fish added, I wish to destroy the heron and give all fish peace of mind. But first, I need to send you outdoors so you don't ruin everything. The tiny fish said, You're dying. How are you going to kill the heron? The dagger was shown by the little fish. I'm going to rip apart her stomach from right here. Now pay attention to what I'm saying. To amuse the heron, I'm going to start tossing back and forth. You rush out as soon as she opens her mouth and begins to laugh. The tiny fish asked, How about you? The little blackfish said, Don't be concerned about me. I'm not going to come out until I've slain this useless person. The blackfish stopped talking and started tossing about, tickling the heron's tummy. The little fish was poised at the heron's stomach's entrance. The little fish leaped out and dropped into the water as soon as the heron opened her lips and began to chuckle. But no matter how long he waited, the blackfish was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, he noticed the heron twisting and turning and crying out. Then she began to beat her wings and plummeted to the ground. She jumped into the water, she beat her wings again, and suddenly all movement came to a halt. But there was no evidence of little blackfish, and nothing has been heard since. The old fish ended her story and addressed her 12,000 children and grandkids, saying, "It's time for you to go to bed, kids. Go to bed." The kids and grandkids cried, "Grandma, you didn't say anything about what happened to the little blackfish." The elderly fish replied, "We'll save it for tomorrow night. It's time to go to bed now. Good night." 11,999 small fish kissed each other good night and went to bed. The grandma dozed down as well. But no matter how hard she tried, a small redfish couldn't sleep. She had been thinking about the sea all night.